Home, a year that saw Republicans sweep to power, solidify their hold on Capitol Hill, and set the stage for a presidential campaign that's drawing in big names and big money earlier than ever. Chief White House correspondent Jonathan Karl has been tracking it all.
It was obviously a big year for Republicans, but 2014 was an especially big year for Republican women.
Thanks to all of you, we are heading to Washington. And we are going to make them squeal.
Their biggest winner, Joni Ernst, the first woman elected to the Senate from Iowa, the first female combat veteran elected to the Senate from any state.
I grew up castrating hogs on an Iowa farm.
And the first to launch a campaign like this.
Washington's full of big spenders. Let's make them squeal.
But Joni Ernst wasn't the only Republican woman to make history. There was Shelley Moore Capito in West Virginia.
For the first time in the history of West Virginia, we are sending a woman to the United States.
In Utah, Mia Love became the first black Republican woman elected to the House of Representatives. In New York, Elise Stefanik, only 30 years old, the youngest woman ever elected to Congress. So when the 114th Congress gets seated in January, there will be a record number of women serving. 107 total, 20 in the Senate, 87 in the House.
Could you make the argument this was the year of the woman?
Yes and no. There are more women in Congress than there have been before, but incrementally. The same number of women in the Senate, the same number of women governors. But it is a year when we're seeing different kinds of women, women of color in the Republican Party, and we are seeing women in more powerful positions.
The top of the Republican Party, though, remains almost exclusively male.
They've really tried to focus on building up a bench of leaders, understanding that maybe at the very top levels of the party, it's predominantly male. They understand that they need to start cultivating new and fresh talent.
Hello, Iowa!
The top of the Democratic Party, on the other hand,
I'm back!
2014 was the year Hillary Clinton solidified her standing as the presumptive Democratic presidential nominee. She launched her big book tour while supporters under the banner Ready for Hillary set up a shadow campaign. We asked Bill Clinton about them in Iowa.
But they're like Energizer bunnies, you know, they're just everywhere.
They're ready to go as soon as she makes the decision.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. They're going to be disappointed if she doesn't run. Do you think they'll be disappointed?
Thank you.
I will not be baited. I cannot be baited.
Have we ever seen such a formidable frontrunner on the Democratic side who was not an incumbent president or an incumbent vice president?
Yes, it was Hillary Clinton in 2008. But this is not about nostalgia. This is not, she's not inevitable. There are other candidates out there that will pose a threat.
Campaigns matter.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. But I still believe that she is the best positioned candidate in the field right now.
But for Mrs. Clinton, 2014 didn't go exactly as planned.
What happened in 2008 was that Hillary's candidacy got out in front of any rationale for it. And the danger is that that's happening again. You hear ready for Hillary, it's like ready for what?
Her first big interview was with Diane Sawyer.
If I run for president, the way I think about it is that the two most important questions are not will you run and can you win. Those are obviously what people will speculate about. But what's your vision for America, and can you lead us there?
But she seemed a little out of touch.
You have no reason to remember, but we came out of the White House not only dead broke, but in debt.
While it's true the Clintons left the White House in debt because of legal bills, they quickly made millions. The next day, she tried to clarify her remarks on Good Morning America.
I fully appreciate how hard life is for so many Americans today. It's an issue that I've worked on and cared about my entire adult life.
The next round of headlines was about her huge speaking fees, $200,000 or more for a single speech. Over the summer, Mrs. Clinton found herself at odds with President Obama on foreign policy, suggesting in an interview with The Atlantic magazine that his failure to build up the Syrian opposition led to the rise of ISIS. Soon she was clarifying her remarks again.
We have disagreements, as any partners and friends, as we might very well have. but I'm proud that I served with him and for him.
She won't be able to sit on the sidelines of national controversies if she really gets into the race, and I think that will begin to erode some of that favorability that she has been able to build up.
She spent 4.5 years off the campaign trail. And I think she had to regain her political footing. I think she will start off 2015 knowing exactly where she's going and hopefully inspiring others to follow her.
She's still the no doubt about it frontrunner, but her most talked about potential challenger is another woman.
Elizabeth Warren is now the hottest ticket inside the Democratic theater. And there's no question that there will be a movement to try to encourage her to run. And there will be a movement to encourage other Democrats to get into the race. So this is not going to be a walk to the White House. It's going to be a very, very challenging run to the White House.
I asked her if she would consider running for president 2 years ago. Could we see you running for president in 2016?
So I have 5 words for that. No, 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 no.
Absolutely not. No. Her answer has changed.
Yes. Right.
I am not running.
She is now saying, I am not running.
Yeah, but if you
That's
say,
present tense.
Exactly.
Nobody's running right now.
Right.
That's just a statement of fact.
She only speaks in the present tense.
So what's going on?
She feels an incredible vacuum inside the Democratic Party. I think she feels an incredible vacuum in the country. People want someone who's fresh with new ideas, who can talk about the future, who will fight for the middle class, who will fight for working people.
This is sounding familiar.
Yeah, well, you know, I think it's refreshing to have her voice not only in the leadership in the Senate because she's part of the leadership now, but it's refreshing to have her voice out there in the public sphere.
What would it mean to have a Democratic primary where you had an all-out battle and the two that were battling were women?
It would be good for America.
It'd be great for the country. Remember, the United States is ranked 95th in the world.
I think Hillary might disagree with that, by the way.
But we're ranked 95th in the world in terms of female representation in elected office. We have a long way to go before we reach parity.
A long way to go, but getting there. For this